everybody, welcome back to the channel. Plasma 1945, taking off from the Vaziani Air Base in Georgia in an F-5E, aka the MiG-28 from Top Gun. And the message of this flight is to know thy enemy. So this is going to be a Gen 3, which is the F-5 versus the F-16. And this is online against other pilots. So, first thing I always do after taking off from Vaziani Air Force Base on the red side is to fly over to Tbilisi and freak out all the pilots that are sitting rearming or taking off, just to give them a hint of, hey, there's MiG-28s available in this game, aka F-5s. But what we're going to do here is we're going to use the TAC view on the right side of the screen, which is powered by Fox 3 Managed Solutions, the place to get your DCS servers. And whenever the screen goes kind of a green tint, that means I'm accelerating time. So the stuff on the screen is happening at regular time, but if you look to the right side, you'll see the accelerated view of my flight path. It will synchronize for the good stuff, but let me know if this helps, because I figured you guys had better things to do than to sit there and watch me fly towards a combat area for about 10 minutes. So, the main thing with the F-5 is you've got two Fox 2 missiles. Fox 2 missiles are heat seekers, and they're equivalent to the, pretty close to the AIM-9M. The only problem is you've got two of them, you've got limited chaff, limited flares, of course you have no data link, you have a compass and a radio, and your GCI tells you where to fly. The nice thing is that you get the BRAA calls whenever the AWACS can see your plane. So if you're flying in the valleys like this, the AWACS, the airplane that's supposed to tell you where the targets are, may not actually have a direct line of sight to you, which means you won't get any updates. So sometimes you do need to pop up to find those targets. But in this case, as I come around this mountain, I'm going to spot my enemy. In this particular case, the enemy is an F-16. Of course, I don't know if it's an F-16, but what I'm doing here is I'm jettisoning my fuel tank at the center of my aircraft. And without this tank, I can be a little bit faster. The reason I did it is because I could see the F-16 in the sky in front of me. If you look right above the glass of my HUD, he's just coming on just above those mountains. It's all about looking for those tiny dots. So I could actually see him launch a missile. I could see a tiny smoke trail from his missile, and now I'm turning in for a shot. He is accelerating, and because I've only got two missiles, I have to make sure that they hit, which means I have to be close enough, and I need a good tone from the Sidewinders. Here, he descends down, and I lose him just for a moment against the terrain. Then I spot him as he comes up. It's always better to be, unless you can be, slightly lower so that you can see the outline of the enemy aircraft against the sky. The F-16 is way faster than I am. Its one engine produces more power than both of my engines combined. He extends away. I'm looking for a tone to fire my missile, but I'm not hearing a tone from the Sidewinder. I should hear the growl, which means that the missile can see the target. This guy's maneuvering, descending, and staying low. I'm watching my airspeed because the F-5 is underpowered. It can fall out of the sky very easily. So you have to trust your instincts in the aircraft, keep an eye on the enemy, and also be very good with your shots. Don't waste any missiles. As you can see, there was a couple of missiles fired by a friendly on this guy, but instead there's my Fox 2. The AIM-120s missed this F-16. Splash 1. Blue Force F-16 is down, and I have succeeded in surviving this offensive. Alright, now here's the problem. I'm getting pinged from my left side of my RWR. In theory, there shouldn't be any enemies in that direction, but I do have a missile on my 6 o'clock. What I don't know, that you can see on the TAC view now on the right side, is that the missile was actually fired by a friendly aircraft. So I'm thinking that I'm being pursued by an enemy. I'm getting nails from my nose. Nails basically the little symbol on the radar that there's an enemy radar pointing at you. I come around thinking that there's a bad guy behind me, and yes, but there's a friendly behind me. On Growling Sidewinder, if you're ever flying there, you can always press the F10 map, and you can see your friendly aircraft. So I'm thinking, is there a bad guy sandwiched between me and this other guy? And there he goes, flying right underneath me. I'm going up, looking for that shot. But on the F10 map, I can tell that this is likely a friend. And right there, he actually hit me with guns. So I turn in, and I have to tell him that I am a friend. I'm sure I'm a friend. He's heading right for me, so the best thing to do here is pop some flares, which I do. And I'm hoping that he's going to realize that I am not his enemy. Missile on my 6 o'clock. I'm descending right away. 2 missiles. Or it looks like 2 missiles. Using terrain for cover and heading down for the deck. Now, if you kill a friendly aircraft in Growling Sidewinder, what will happen is you're going to get kicked out. So all the flying that I did to get here, that's all going to be for naught. So very important. And F10 map shows that my friendly has now been splashed. I keep checking the F10 map, hoping that I can pick something up. Their AWACS is definitely seeing me. And since my friendly got splashed, there must be an enemy nearby. And indeed there is another enemy F-16. I see something on my nose. There's a tiny dot. And it looks like he is heading away from me. And now I'm listening in for my bogey dope call. There's the smoke from the friendly that was shot down. I'm not sure where these guys are. Of course, on the right side of the attack view, you can see exactly what happened. But when you're flying here, it's very tense. I keep requesting bogey dope, hoping that the AWACS can tell me where the nearest enemy is. And there's the update. 331 for 70. And it's somebody behind me at 1,000. And there's a second update. 354 for 9. So 354 is north-northwest for 9 miles. That's when I'm looking at the compass, and this guy should be popping up somewhere on my nose. I just hope he hasn't seen me and fired a missile. And there he is. Right in the center of the screen, going right to left. I get a merged call, which is basically the AWACS telling me that I am within very close range to the enemy. So I have one more missile left. The shot needs to be good. Box 2. Zooming in for that shot. The guy has no idea I was even here. Radar off and silent. Splash 2 F-16s in my little F-5. At this point it's getting dark. I better not push my luck. And it's time to head back to base. There's no point flying a mission and splashing 2 enemies than not to land. So, let's fly back south towards Tbilisi, and as you can see on the attack view on the right side, as I'm flying through the canyons back, I'm trying to stay out of AWACS coverage for the Blue Force so that they don't know where I am. Because if they see me on data link on their advanced aircraft, I really stand no chance. But there was a fight between a friendly flanker and an enemy aircraft to my right, and I'm being told that that guy is 13 miles away and closing. I request a bogey dope, and the response is that he is coming towards me. I come through here, I'm looking for him visually. He goes right behind that cloud, merged, 7 miles, full speed ahead. All I've got is guns. I could have continued back to base. I had another 20 miles to go, but there was a chance this guy would spot me and take me out. I can see him firing a missile. I'm on his 6 o'clock. This is going to be a gun kill. Turning in, the guns are looking good. Need to get a little closer. And he gets hit by the SAM missiles protecting Tbilisi. I'm okay with this. I really didn't want to get into a dogfight with my guns, low on fuel, and right next to an air base. So, final pass, right over Tbilisi one more time. Coming back as a victor. I've got my buddy Stinger from Kiev there on the deck. Gonna pop some flares. And almost collide with a Tomcat that's taking off right in front of me there. Oof. Pulling away at the last second. I didn't see that guy. Oops. Alright, so there you have it. It's definitely not the box, but the man in the box. But it does really help when you have a really nice box with data link and Fox 3 missiles and more than 2 Sidewinders. But for those who want to practice and give themselves a challenge, if you've mastered the F-16 and you've mastered really the art of flying that flanker or MiG-29 and getting a whole bunch of splashes, drop into a MiG-21 or an F-5 on Growling Sidewinder. I know it's not Enigma, but it's definitely a challenge, and you are really faced with making smart decisions, using terrain for cover, and getting those splashes, because it is not easy being an F5 in an F-16 or an F-18 world. I'll tell you that, guys. And we're not even going to talk about a jamming flanker that's heading at you at Mach 1.7. But as I said, it's all about perspective and it's all about having fun. So coming in for a nice landing over on the Tbilisi Air Force Base. And after this, I'm going to pop my parachute and park my MiG-28 after a flight well done. If you've enjoyed this video, as always, hit that like, subscribe, and comment. This was Plasma 1945, signing off and taxiing out without exploding.